Okay, this one's for you, dear Cancer. It's from Tarot Lumination. It's your July 2019 report. I hope we can do justice to this report. It's kind of a big deal month, especially for Cancerians and somewhat for Capricorns. And you've probably already, discovered that from other reports here and there. We have the eclipses, okay? There is a new moon Cancer eclipse, July 2nd, and the full moon eclipse is around July 16th, okay? So this is right in your face, okay? Fundamental, groundbreaking, irreversible changes in your sense of self and identity, your selfhood. Like, who am I now? Who am I becoming? Who was I? Where am I going now? Who am I going to be? Because what happens and changes with you affects other people, okay? And how they relate to you. Let's go straight to the astrodoodles first. I'll go back to the cards in a minute. Hold on. First, let's do the basics like I did for everyone else. Here's the basic information for the month. It's just calendar moments. I'm purely focusing on the yellow stuff for now for this report. There's the new moon, okay? July 2nd. And there's the full moon around the 16th. Eclipse, okay? And it's an extra big eclipse because there are a lot of planets involved as well, conjuncting and opposing. And of course, it involves the nodal axis. Also, the big thing for me is all these planets retrograde, okay? Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, Mercury, Neptune, all of that going on. So for you, the Tarot Lumination Astrodoodle looks a little bit like this. Okay, don't be scared. It's perfectly normal. Everyone else has their version of the same thing. Everyone has a big squiggle, red squiggle in the middle. So there's you, Cancer, on the horizon. The new moon eclipse, okay, sun conjoined with the moon. So we're talking, okay, I have to do my little demonstration now. Evolutionary gateways, okay? With eclipses, I see them as evolutionary gateways. I'm going to do a little demo over here, so be patient. Greetings, dear Cancer. So the way I like to think about it is, and eclipses are significant, some of the most powerful moments in the year for everybody, and how we deal with them is our own business. A lot of us don't pay any attention. We only feel it deep down inside, or maybe notice it later on in our lives. But we come in, let's just say this is you living your life, okay? And you enter into this eclipse thing like an elevator. The door opens, now you're inside, and you're taken up. And then the doors open, but it's the other door on the other side because it's a double-sided door elevator, and you go out this way. So can you see the idea? I'm trying to go like this to here to here, and there's no going back. Sorry, here is very different from here. Everything might look the same. You're still the same. Oh, there's your body. Like you got the same day job, the same school, the same college, the same mate, the same house, whatever it is. But fundamental shifts have happened and will happen, and they will unfold over a period of many months, okay? And then we have another round of these eclipses happening around January 2020. So just letting you know, okay? Evolutionary gateways, okay? Get it? You, Cancer, are fundamentally changing, and ultimately it's for the better. All of these things, let's just look at it this way. Hold on. No matter how choppy or weird it might be, ultimately it's for your benefit. It's ultimately for your soul growth, okay? So there you are, living a whole year of life. And I think we had an eclipse, what was it, 6 months ago as well on this axis. But right now, it's your kind of solar year. It's like your birthday report, okay? And so it's like being reborn, starting life all over again. A new sun, Cancer sun over here. But with the eclipse, it kind of amplifies everything, and there's no going back. So there's the whole new you that is evolving. You might see a whole new identity of yourself evolving here, and that's going to impact your relationship. Okay, this is the relationship axis. There's the seventh house of marriage, the seventh house of open enemies, and look what's happening over there. They're having their own profound shifts as well. Saturn retrograde, Pluto retrograde, whoever this is, they would be represented in the 7th house. I'm not saying they're a Capricorn. It's just that that's the house of relationship. Okay? So let's just get on with the cards, and we'll probably have to come back to that in a minute. So cards are well shuffled in advance, okay? I just go to the last second so that you're a witness. No jumpers, no flyers, no reversals, but we are going to have an oracle at the end, so hang tight, okay? Please invite your invisible friends. You know what that means by now. That's what we do here. It's kind of a team effort. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising, especially if each one is different. Reinterpret to suit yourself, okay? And you can even cross-watch for the significant others if you want to. Also, singles, if you want to, you can dive into this. But you have to allow for the energy of what if. There's you, Cancer, and what about the other, okay? If there's no one exactly right, deep, tight in your world right now. Also, we're using the Tarot Lumination Crucible spread. It's on the understanding that there's you, Cancer, there's a significant other, a chosen person, and there's a third living thing, an entity itself called a relationship. Okay, you'll see in just a moment. We're almost ready to go. Okay, I like the deck to be really pristine, so that's why I do all this so much. Here we go. Let's bust it up. Invite your invisible friends. Bless the deck. Bless every single card in the deck. Bless Tarot Lumination. Bless Cancer. Bless the whole channel. Bless the technology, the platform, all of it. Over here, think of yourself like a smartphone. What are you radiating? Okay, it's energy. You are a transceiver. You're constantly transmitting and receiving energy, including in love and relationship. Okay, the same thing for a significant other. This is not a couple's reading. It's all about you. This is your co-star. Okay, over here, deep inside of you, deep inside the other, and to the core of the relationship itself. Over here, what is growing? Okay, think of this. Okay, this is the crucible. Okay, this is the Tarot Lumination Crucible spread. You've got this thing here. Okay, and you guys own this thing. So what is the nature here? What's going on here? Is it flexible? Is it wobbly? Is it solid? Is it porous? Is it let's say adaptable? And what are you guys growing in here as you intimate and separate, as we always intimate and separate in relationships? Think of it as a potted plant. What are you growing here? Also, you live in circumstances. You live in an environment, and you live in weather. I think of it as astrological weather. So let's call it the weather. What's going on out there? Okay, with the Page of Pentacles, my feeling is that it's a very, very simple message uh, that this is all working for you. Like the heavens simply want you to know that, dear Cancer, everything's fine. There's a lot that you don't know, and that's simply because you haven't evolved through this moment yet. This is historical, like it is for everybody, and you are in your state of innocence just like everyone else. So don't take it too personally about, of course, even though it is extremely personal because the eclipse is sitting right on you, but allow yourself to live through this in your innocence just like everyone else, okay? Because we're all dealing with it, all of us. Tarot Lumination too, okay? And when with the Page of Pentacles here, my feeling is that the heavens want you also to do things in a very, very like methodical, practical, down-to-earth manner, okay? Very measurable, very like a very measurable way in how you get through this. Literally like checking the clock, do everything in a very orderly way, how you conduct yourself, your life, and how you observe everyone else conducting themselves, and just do it just like you're kind of doing like a oh, like a training program or something. One step, one module, one learning video at a time, one class at a time. Okay, let's have a look here. Wheel of Fortune. So this is very much the energy of, I guess you could call it fate. It's basically, it's like everything's exactly as it should be because it can't be any other way. So what can you do about it? Okay, you just say, well, I'm Cancer. The eclipses are coming right in my face, bam, right at the very beginning of the month. I don't have any choice about it. It's what's happening. Do I acknowledge it? Do I believe any of this stuff? What's actually going to happen? It kind of doesn't matter because whatever is going to happen, it's going to happen anyway. All the forces of the universe are ultimately working in your favor. Some days it feels up. Some days it feels down. You go up and down, and you, dear Cancer, you can be very, very sensitive to the lunar cycles. The moon is your ruling planet. And so the moon is like the star of the show this month, okay? So you might feel as though, like, it's almost like, you know what? I understand what you're saying, Tarot Lumination. It just means I'm on a roller coaster. I'm not going to fight it. If it gets weird and wobbly, it gets weird and wobbly. If it's amazing and spectacular, fantastic. That's what's happening over here. And you're going to get another vivid moment over here towards the middle and end of the month on the July 16th when we get the full moon eclipse, okay? So my feeling is that uh, you've already kind of got yourself in the zone because you've been probably feeling it coming already and it's happening for you. And it's like, okay, just bring it on. I can handle this. I'm just going to be Cancer living my life. And it's wobbly, I will admit it. I feel like in 1 minute I'm in outer space, the next minute I'm groveling on the ground, and then there's everything else in between. And luckily, I have my angels to help me, and I can watch Tarot Lumination videos. That might help too. Okay? There's a lot of wisdom here. Do you see all the books? The books, the books, the books, the knowledge, the learning, the understanding that is coming to you from all these angelic beings. Okay? Earth, air, fire, water. What about the other? Okay, so with the Five of Swords here, my feeling is you might be dealing with a significant other or significant others who are actually kind of struggling with this. It's remember, this is not a couples thing. This is all about you, but we're dealing with a significant other. They are present. They have some presence here in your life, in your world. And they may be insisting that certain things need to be certain ways, and that's just how it is because that's their perception of the truth. It's personal truth as opposed to universal truth, and so there is a difference, but that can make things awkward for themselves. They may not know this, or they might be aware of this, and they could actually be making like their experience harder for themselves than it has to be. They could be insisting that things have to go a certain way because they have to go a certain way because I am who I am over here, and I'm sorry if you can't handle that. And the other energy about this is that if they already have a higher sense of knowledge and wisdom about what's happening here, and they're dealing with it, with themselves in their own way, and you're struggling because it's such a powerful eclipse thing for you, uh, through basically the whole month is all about the eclipses. It's like it's really not their problem. Okay, as far as they're concerned, it's just like, well, I would help you if I could, but I have my own issues to take care of, and I feel that's my duty and responsibility and right to do that. I don't have to apologize for prioritizing myself in this situation. You deal with what you have to deal with, okay? Whatever you can't handle, you can't handle, okay? I'm still here, okay? This doesn't look like a very loving kind of energy in a direct way, but it looks like that's what's going on. So we have to accept it and deal with it, okay? I guarantee they have their own challenges as well, because they would be represented in your life through the seventh house of a significant other. So with all that Pluto Saturn thing going on there in retrograde, it's like it's almost so much pressure and like in deep reality checks that they wouldn't want to acknowledge it. This is almost like the energy of futile conflict, the energy of like they're in denial. They might be in denial about how profound the changes are that are happening in them because of being in relationship with you and witnessing the profound changes that are happening with you. Is they're saying it's not my business, but the reality is I have a feeling that they might be struggling to cope, okay, in their own way, struggling and trying to conduct themselves as if everything's okay. They're not, in some ways, they're not even helping themselves. It's just very, to me, this is very awkward energy to see here. What about deep inside of you? Okay, well, there's no question about it. You mean well. You only have the best of intentions. All you want to do is make the best of this. for you, for your life, your world, your loved ones, your home, yourself, your identity, the new you that is emerging, so new, so innocent that you almost really don't know where it's going to go. Of course, you already have a sense of identity already, but it's going to change, okay? It's going to change, and it's not going to just happen overnight. It is going to change like a morphing thing, okay? Did I just show you that thing about the eclipses in the other stage? Oh gosh, I can't remember now. I think I better do that again just in case I forgot. Okay, hold on. So I was trying to explain in some of the other videos about uh, the evolutionary gateway. That's how I see eclipses. So you're like living your life, okay? Forgive me if I did this earlier. I'm losing it, okay? You're living your life, and then tick, this gateway opens in front of you. There's nowhere else to go, so you get in, and it takes you up, okay? And then the gates close, and then it takes you up, and then the gates open, but it's only this side, okay? So you don't have anywhere else to go except here, okay? So that's the whole idea. Huh? 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 Okay? And that puts a strain on everybody, okay? Because the significant other is dealing with their own version of the same thing. You're dealing with it right in your face. Brand new starts and new beginnings. And you're going to understand what this all means a lot more by the end of the month, okay? Let's go back. Okay, so the way I see it, the way I feel it is that you're perfectly okay with all of this. It's almost like you had a feeling this was coming and you're just rolling with it. It's like, being in a spacecraft and you know it's going to get really, really choppy, but you signed up for the ride. You wanted to go into outer space, and your relationship has some dynamics of being way out in outer space. And now you're living through it, and then you have to go through these re-entry processes, and it goes back and forth as we ebb and flow in life and love and relationship. But you're totally on board. You want it to happen. You signed up for it. You signed up for the adventure of life. You signed up for the adventure of being you and being the new you, okay, and putting everything you've got into it. Okay, it almost doesn't matter what the outcome is at this point. It's just like, well, that's what I signed on for. That's why I was born. I'm here to be me. Thank you very much. First house energy. Brand new me. Birthday me. Happy birthday me. I'm going for it. I'm going to do it step by step. I'm going to do it by the book, even though there's no book written for this stuff. And we're just going to do it. Okay, like a pioneer, like an explorer. All right. What about inside of them, Cancer? Okay, there's so much innocence going on here. I think what's happening is that the eclipses are going to expose the innocence of everybody involved here. Okay, Cancer? So my feeling is that they really, really want to get to grips with this themselves as well, but it's a completely different experience for them. Part of them, it feels to me like there's a bit of this resistance kind of energy, almost like it's almost like they're trying to resist the eclipses and like say prove that they have the ability to resist the eclipses because it's so fundamentally life changing for them that they actually kind of don't want to know, and so they're calling it out. But the I think the reality is that they actually deep down do know about the profound effect of these eclipses and how it's affecting them as an individual, which affects you, which affects the relationship, and that's uncomfortable for them. So my feeling is that it's like they might be like trying to communicate and speak in ways that are, I would say, a little bit defiant, but it's just their symptom of trying to cope in a very challenging circumstance. Like, how some people can get, they can go into denial, or they can slightly insist that I'm right. I know I'm right, and everything's going to be just a certain way it is. And if you think it's going to go this way and that way, I'm telling you, you've got another thing coming. And then they're over here like, because I already know how it's going to be, because I've already done my homework and I'm living through my own thing as well. But I have a feeling is that there's such a high degree of innocence for all parties here, for you, for the other, and for the relationship itself, and frankly for the whole planet, that there's only so much you guys can do in this. There's you I don't think it would be fair. I don't predict the future here. All I try to do is like a weather report. And so my feeling is that let's just all admit we're innocent here. You're innocent. They're innocent. The relationship is innocent. The circumstantial energies are innocent. You can't blame the eclipses for anything. They're just there doing what they do. So it's, how do you deal with that? How do they deal with it? They might be having a very different experience to you. What about the relationship here? Okay, so it looks like it's putting a lot of stress on the relationship, and it's bringing out all the things that are not workable in the relationship. Now, the thing is, a lot of this is just based in fear, okay? And I think it's a lot to do with fear of the past, okay? The deep terror of the fear of the past repeating itself in the future, which is understandable, okay? So in life and love and relationships, a lot of us like to insulate ourselves from pain and suffering, either by pretending it's not there or trying to fight it, okay, and prove that it's not there. But either way, the relationship is saying, excuse me, it is here. This is actually a very difficult, challenging thing for everybody, for the whole planet, but for you, Cancer, and for you, dear other party here. And please do not deny this. Now, whatever, you know what happens? Let me go back to this analogy again. Hold on, this might help. Okay, let's say we're doing this thing. Okay, you are the Cancer. You're living your life, but now we're talking about you in the relationship, in the couple, and your relationships. You come in, and now let's just say you're both going into the elevator, okay? And the door closes behind you, and you realize, like, wait a minute, like, did you plan this? Like, no, I didn't plan this. Is this a hoax? Is this a game? Oh, it looks like we're going up, we're going up, we're going up. And you can get some squabbling, and you can get fearful, you can get frightful, like, wait a minute, what's happening? Like, and you could be squabbling for all sorts of reasons about, like, well, you could have told me, you were going to change, or that you're fundamentally changing and you expect different things out of me or the relationship. But neither anybody in your innocence could not have known what happens once you go into the gateway, you live through it and come out the other side. So my feeling here is that there's a lot of deep, deep inner fear. Hold on. It's hard to do all this at once. My feeling is that there's a deep, deep fear of profound, irrevocable change that's happening for this significant other. I'll point it out here. Okay, the Saturn-Pluto thing over here, it's so heavy duty, it's so profound. I'm not saying they're a Capricorn, I'm just mentioning the energy here, because this is the energy that's opposing you. Energy of the 7th house, okay, of love. Sorry, well, like loving relationship that turns into marriage, which can also be the hardest thing that ever happens in your life. That's why they call it the house of hope and enemies. So my feeling here is that you, dear Cancer, are totally on board with this eclipse stuff, okay? I'm going for it. I'm absolutely going for it. And you're dealing with a significant other who's going through intense, profound, deep soul transformations here, that might be very uncomfortable for them. And part of them is in denial, like, it's not, that's just, it's not going to affect me the way you think it is or the way I think it is. But deep down, I think they know it's true, and they might want to call it out or deny it, but it's putting a lot of pressure on the relationship, because it looks to me like there's a lot of denial over here, some kind of stress reaction, like based on deep fear of the past repeating itself and coming into intense pain into their present life, which is the last thing that they would want in a loving relationship. And you certainly don't need that either. Okay, so I see all this as just fear-based. Okay, but it's probably very, very hidden. Okay, because they don't want to admit that. Okay, with that Pluto Saturn energy, it's so deep, it's so profound, you might not even know it's happening. So this would be like a very, very deeply buried stress. So it puts stress on the relationship. I don't feel that this stress is much to do with you personally. You might be feeling it. You might be aware that the relationship is under stress, but I don't think it's because of you. I think it's because of circumstance and because the challenges that they are having adapting with this evolutionary gateway. Okay, let's have a look. Kerblam. But you come out the other side a winner. Yay. Super duper. Okay. To me, this is really, really cool. It's almost like you, even though to me it feels like you're probably in some ways theoretically, I'm not an expert at this stuff, but it feels to me that you Cancerians would probably be under more pressure than anyone else on the planet right now, just for this eclipse season in July with all that Cancer energy and then the opposition around the 16th. But to me, it looks like you're actually totally up for this, like you just signed on for being an astronaut and you're just going for it. Okay. And it's actually taking them so far out of their comfort zone, to the fear of like, oh my gosh, I can't take, I don't know what I'm gonna do, I don't know what I'm gonna do, how am I gonna handle this, and then you already know some way or other, somehow or other, deep down inside Cancer, you already know because you already signed on. It's just like, you know what? Not only are we going to be fine, this is going to be awesome. Thank you very much. And I'm perfectly happy to take full responsibility for the awesomeness of all of this. And I know I'm under a lot of pressure, but this is what I signed up for. I'm really, really sorry that you're struggling with some of the profound changes that you're having deep inside, and you'd love to like challenge all the stuff that's stressing you, and you're terrified of the past and all the pain repeating itself, but it's okay. We're actually doing fine. Okay? Okay? All right. So I hope that makes sense for you, dear Cancer. You might want to be very, very squishy and mushy with yourself and gooey regarding your other half, because even though they might be trying to put on a very brave face, I think deep down they're absolutely wetting themselves trying to deal with their part of the equation. But I think you're fine. I think you're not only fine, I think you're going to be fine. I think they're going to be fine. I think the relationship's going to be fine. And sometimes relationships go through these periods where they withstand, they undergo intense pressure, or people get frightened, like, oh my God, is everything going to blow up? Is everything going to fall apart? Oh no, 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 no. But you're fine. All right? Everything's fine. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Holding hands all the way. There you go. Let's do the oracle thing like I said I would do, because I'm doing that for every report this month. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience and going along with me in the way I have to depict these things, because sometimes they're overwhelming, and it's like, because I feel like I'm watching a movie when I do this stuff, and I'm trying to capture the subtitles or do the narration for you as we go along. But we did it, okay? Now, whatever card comes up here, just treat it as a little gift, as an afterthought, to add a bit of color and depth and perspective that we couldn't get from the tarot. Okay? Here it is. Look at that. Pay attention to the red flags. Okay, so I'm saying this is about you, Cancer. Okay, pay attention to the red flags in your life, your world, your environment, your circumstances, the relationship itself. Okay, serious red flags in the relationship itself. Okay, but they're probably all based on fear from the past, okay, as opposed to the truth and the reality of now, because you've got so much strength here. It's awesome. Nevertheless, pay attention to the red flags. Some of the red flags, maybe many of them, will be coming from a significant other. But I think we kind of talked about these already and the nature of those red flags. Let's have a look. We're going to read from the book now. I think we had this with one of the other reports. Okay, so there's a lady here. She's covered in one of those like big mosquito bug nets. She doesn't want to be stung in any way, shape, or form. And yet there's a lot of like angelic energy out here trying to send her important messages that might actually sting, okay? And they're not supposed to sting, but it's like you need to know this stuff, okay? You don't want to walk around in a state of denial, you know? Okay, so the romance angels sent you this card to help you notice the unhealthy or disconcerting parts of your relationships. I'm adding an S, plural, relationships, okay, because I think I want to go beyond just one relationship here. If you are swept up in a new romance or love, and like in a challenging relationship dynamic, this card serves as a cautionary warning. Pay attention to your feelings and impressions with regard to your new suitor. Well, I'm saying that we could be dealing with someone who's already here because there's a lot of stressful energy here from my perspective as your reader. Don't allow emotion to blind you to characteristics or habits that won't work for you in a relationship. Like if there's a lot of denial over here or contention or unwillingness to accept the truth and a reluctance to adapt because of so much fear of the past repeating itself, pay attention to that energy. Acknowledge it. Doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. It's just something that needs to be acknowledged. Okay. A red flag is a sign that something is off. It can include an indication of dishonesty, disrespect, flirtatiousness with others, substance abuse, lack of integrity, and a ton of other things like denial, defiance, fear of the past. All of those things, those need to be recognized and understood. The last thing you want to do, Cancer, even though I think you're going to be fine, is ignore the deep pain and challenges that might be happening with a significant other. Okay, that need to be recognized. While your new love interest or your love interest may treat you wonderfully well in the beginning of your relationship, it's vital that you watch how he or she treats others. Someone's basic character is revealed by the way in which he or she talks and acts with restaurant staff, valet parking attendants, personal servants, your driver, your shoe polisher, your mani-pedi person, your barber, and other miscellaneous individuals. Are you a miscellaneous individual? Is Tarot Lumination a miscellaneous individual? Okay. Now, if you're in an existing relationship, these red flags can signal a need for an honest mutual discussion or even couples counseling. This card doesn't necessarily guide you to leave a relationship. No, not at all. The red flags can be markers along the path of healing. Let's say markers as you go through the evolutionary gateway of these eclipses, okay? The romance angels will guide you to take steps that are healthy for everyone involved. So do follow your intuition. I think the first step here is to obviously pay attention to what's going on and then get back to being you and just live through the experience, okay? Allow them to get flustered. Let them be who they are. There's no point in trying to force them to comply to something, but it's very important to pay attention to their behavior, their actions as they go through their experience themselves. You're going to be fine. So are they. So is the relationship. But obviously, it's very stressful at some point. It's kind of like, again, I think I used an astronaut analogy earlier. Let me go back. I want to do this. Hold on. Okay, here's the astronaut analogy. Like you guys are up in outer space, you've been living there for a while, and now you got to come down to Earth. Okay, Page of Pentacles. Like, and then you realize it's a freaking scary thing coming back into the atmosphere. It's very, very stressful. Are we going to blow up? Are we going to burn? Oh no! But you did it. You're going to be fine. Okay, Cancer, you're going to be fine. Happy birthday. All the best. All right, there you go, Cancer. It's been a pleasure. You can do this. You're going to be just fine. You're awesome. You're awesome, okay? Don't worry about them. That's their problem. They can handle it. They've got you, they've got the relationship, and they're obviously smart, okay? Don't worry. But we're all innocent. Innocence, innocence, innocence here. So please allow for the innocence, okay? Bye-bye.